Ryan, Ryan, I'm just going to ask you to pop over to very much and welcome everyone. Happy New Year. It is the year of the rabbit, which is supposed to be, I think, a quiet and gentle year, but we know that's not always the case. So we're really excited to have everybody back for our first OmniAir monthly membership meeting of the year. And we'll have a few announcements for you. Then we're going to introduce a couple of guests from Florida Department of Transportation and University of Florida and Florida Turnpike Enterprise to talk about what I am very excited for is our next OmniAir Plugfest, which is going to be the week of May 1st to the 5th at the world-class SunTrax facility in Florida. So we'll be glad to hear about that in a few minutes. But before we get started, before we do that, let's get started with a couple of OmniAir updates. So I would like to acknowledge all of the members who are returning to OmniAir. We appreciate your continued support for the organization. I'd especially like to thank those members who have upgraded to Sustaining Partnership. And a Sustaining Partnership is an all-inclusive membership, which includes all certification services fees, all Plugfest and workshop registrations, and of course, executive level membership. And so thank you to Integrity Security Services, Neology, Star Systems, DECRA, Keysight, TTA, Coda Wireless, North Texas Tollway Authority, CAPS, TransCore, and Waytees. We certainly appreciate your continued support for OmniAir, and we're appreciative of all of our members. And I think one of the things that makes OmniAir unique is that we do have a 360-degree view of the testing and measurement world for connected vehicles as well as tolling. We have automotive OEMs, chipset providers, cybersecurity experts, device manufacturers, test labs, test tool providers, which I think gives us really the complete view as we develop testing and certification programs to ensure interoperability across tolling, connected vehicles, and ITS. All right, next, please. So we sent out our membership dues just a little bit early this year. And so the dues deadline, I think, is the end of this month. So we are just about past due. So if you have not paid your dues, I would certainly encourage you to do so soon. See that red telephone? I think that belongs to Ryan and Berkenda. They will be making a couple of phone calls to folks to see how we might be able to help you. Of course, you can pay your dues online via physical check, ACH, or through our secure Stripe portal. And again, we appreciate those who have paid early, and I look forward to your continued support throughout the year. And we'd like to welcome our newest team member, Mick Conley. I don't know if Mick is on the call yet. He was over the team's call a minute ago. Okay, great. Well, Mick joins us with just a wealth of experience in certification programs for the wireless industry. Some of you may remember him from UL, where he helped to organize the first OmniAir Plugfest and helped to develop our original CDCA policy. And has just joined us most recently from Spirit. Mick brings experience also from being on staff at the Wi-Fi Alliance. So we're looking to Mick to support our working groups, our Plugfest testing, and to bring some rigor to our certifications. Mr. Conley, floor is yours, sir.
Well, again, thanks, Jason. And, anxious and excited to be with this group. It's an important group. Moving towards 2025, things are going to become even more so important. So looking forward to working with everybody.
Excellent, thank you. And just in case anyone's asking, Mick and I are pretty sure that we're not cousins, maybe distantly related, but otherwise, probably not. So with that, let's move on. We'd also like to welcome 4 new board members who were elected at our December Board of Directors meeting. Maureen Bach from the Oregon Department of Transportation, Mr. Bill McKinley from Keysight Technologies, Fernando Rodriguez from DECRA North America, and Reed Siggety with Spoke Safety. Do we have Maureen, Bill, Fernando, or Reed on the call?
You do.
Ms. Bach, floor is yours.
I'm really excited about this year. I think there's lots of opportunities for us to do really good things in the world of certification, especially as it relates to REC and tolling, which is my passion, of course. So I'm looking forward to this year.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Do we have Mr. McKinley on the call?
Yes, I'm here, Jason, and hello everyone. Yeah, as Maureen said, I'm really excited to be part of the board, and a lot of people within Keysight are sending me congrats messages and stuff. That's pretty nice. But yeah, I mean, as you said, Jason, having test equipment to give you the real 360-degree certification covers, labs, test equipment, certification bodies, and much more. So yeah, I'm really excited and I'm really happy to be part of the team. Looking forward to meeting everybody in the first board meeting coming up soon. So thanks very much.
Fantastic, sir. Mr. Rodriguez, are we on the call? So I'll just say this, that Fernando has actually worked with OmniAir for years, starting at 7 Layers, where he ran the first lab that became an OmniAir authorized lab for DSRC, and DECRA has now authorized labs for LTE V2X programs in Spain, and our second lab for RFID tolling testing, which is in Sterling, Virginia. We're so excited to have Fernando on the board. Mr. Siggety, are you on the call? So Reed Siggety is the co-founder of Spoke. Many of you may remember him from a very important role at Panasonic and active in the connected vehicle space for years. And he's doing something very, very exciting at Spoke, which is bringing this connected vehicle technology to bicycles. The engineering cycle being faster for bicycle OEMs than it is for automobiles. We have, I think we'll see a faster deployment. They're doing some really exciting things to help protect vulnerable road users. They Spoke did a great demonstration at our Spring Plug Fest together with Audi, and showing some of the bicycle applications. And we hope they'll be able to join us at the Spring Plug Fest. So welcome, Reed. Next, please. And just a couple of highlights from 2022. I know it's a little late for a look back, but we did make some accomplishments. I know everyone has been waiting and waiting for the Federal Communications Commission to provide some clarity on the waiver process for CV2X, but in advance of that, the testing industry is moving forward. We've authorized now 2 test laboratories for CV2X testing. We've qualified a number of test systems in the past year, including Nordsys and Spirent tools. We entered into a memorandum of understanding with the Taiwan Telematics Industry Association, and we'll be having a meeting actually in the next couple of weeks to talk about a possible first OmniAir Plug Fest in Asia hosted in Taiwan. So very excited about that. Developing test cases for V2X applications. We have 12 multi-protocol tolling certification documents. For the first time, we'll be offering conformance testing and interoperability certification for tri-protocol devices, TDM, CGO, and 6C. And I just can't thank enough all of the tolling members for their hard work in making that happen. We have new working groups and a new test tool for that, new working group in cybersecurity on 1609.2.1. And we held 2 plug fests and did a number of webinars. So we're looking to build on that success. And you can see the picture on the left was from our plug fest at DECRA in Spain. There together with the mayor of Malaga. So really excited for that, and looking so much forward to what we're able to do in Florida. Next, please. And as we announced in our newsletter, we do have a few priorities that we are working through. At the end of this call, I've asked Mike Brown, who chairs our coordinating council with the Southwest Research Institute, but he also chairs our coordinating council, to walk us through what that group has been doing to develop a technical roadmap. So a little more granularity there, but some of our priorities is really expanding that CV2X certification to apply to the global market. We're looking to launch in the next month or so the world's first multi-protocol tolling certification program. That's been a couple of years in the making. We're really excited about that. 2 plug fests, which we'll hear about one in a minute. Build on the success of our application testing. Really trying to do something that's not been done before, which is expanding OmniAir certification, not just to the devices, but to the applications, covering a number of important safety use cases. Updating RSU certification for CTI 4001 and and some other things. And then continuing to collaborate with SEMS Manager on and our cybersecurity working group on security testing. And then really looking at what's beyond RFID tolling, and as Maureen alluded to, developing comprehensive certification for road usage charge providers is something that we have an eye on, and a new initiative focused on that. So if you want to get involved in any of these activities, reach out to Randy, Ryan, Burkenda, Mick, or myself, and we're happy to get you involved. All right, now this is the exciting part. Oh, I guess we've skipped a slide here. So we are launching on Monday, making a formal announcement that we'll be hosting our next Plug Fest in the great state of Florida at the world-class SunTrax test facility. I had an opportunity to tour that test facility in August of this year, and it's just outstanding. There's a 2.25 mile oval. There is geometry testing. There's an urban road environment, and just acres of space for indoor lab testing, 18 garage bays, really state of the art. And I think that gives us an opportunity to do some really unique things. We will have that registration page up within the next day or two, and we'll have some early bird pricing. So if you're interested in that, the event will be the May 1st through the 5th of this year, and we will have a policy conference / workshop on the Wednesday of that. So I know there's a number of events that are happening in May. We were trying very hard to make it sure that you have an opportunity to participate in this. And for the first time, we'll offer connected vehicle testing as well as tolling testing. So it's really going to be a very comprehensive workshop that hopefully meets the needs of all of our OmniAir members. And do we have Steve Novosad, chair of our board of directors here?
I am here.
Mr. Novosad, I would like to ask you to introduce our guest of honor from the Florida Department of Transportation and related entities. Mr. Novosad, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Conley. First, I'd just like to thank the Florida Department of Transportation for agreeing to partner with us on this. And so in partnership with FDOT and also with the Florida Turnpike Enterprise and the University of Florida Transportation Institute, we're pleased to be part of this partnership to come together to perform our Plug Fest at SunTrax. And what I'd like to do now is introduce Trey Talander. He's the Executive Director of Transportation Technologies at the Florida Department of Transportation, as well as Raj Panaluri, who's the Manager of Emerging Technologies at the Florida Department of Transportation. Trey, Raj, would you guys like to say anything?
Sure. Thank you, Steve, and thank you, Jason. It's great to be here. Great to see you, Steve. And it's been a little while. Florida sees technology, and particularly connected and automated vehicle and tolling technologies, as enabler for our safety and mobility challenges. We have a big traffic fatality crash problem here in Florida. We have traffic congestion problems. There's 1,000 people moving to Florida every day. So that brings with it big infrastructure problems. And we see these technologies as a big part of that solution. So we want to partner with companies and organizations that can help us meet that safety and mobility mission. You're probably aware Florida has a great environment, both a good regulatory environment for testing these technologies, as well as weather environment. We were talking about that at the beginning of the call. We can test 365 days a year down here. And with that, our infrastructure is also consistently rated one of the best in the country in Florida. And that includes our SunTrax facility, which John Easterlin will actually go through here in a couple of minutes. So we want to invite you all to come down to Florida, develop and test your technologies. And we see Plug Fest as a great avenue for that, and a great way to kick that off. So appreciate the partnerships and look forward to meeting more of you. Raj, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Trey. Good afternoon, Jason and Steve. Thank you for a great introduction. We work with Steve all the time, so it's a pleasure to see him again. As Trey said, here in the state of Florida, we are very focused on safety and mobility, and we look at these emerging technologies as a way to make improvements out there in the field, whether it is reducing traffic crashes or providing mobility options for drivers and whatnot. We also have a very active connected and automated vehicle program. In fact, we have invested just about $103 million just in the state's connected vehicle program alone. And there are many other partners like the Tampa-Hillsborough Expressway Authority and so many others who are doing incredible work in the state. As of today, there's about 220 roadside units. A few more hundred are planned to be deployed out there. We already got into the CV2X realm more than anything else, and many members on this call actually know what Florida is doing. So with that, we felt that there should be one more initiative we should take up, and that is have a plug fest held here in the state of Florida, because there's a lot of work happening, and what better way to showcase it than have it at SunTrax. So we have the support from John Easterling, who's on the call, and so many others to make it happen. And with that very brief intro, I'll turn it back to you, Steve. Thank you, Trey.
Thank you, Trey, Raj, for your gracious remarks. We appreciate them. Now I'd like to introduce John Easterling. He is the Director of District Traffic Operations and the Engineer at the Florida Department of Transportation Turnpike Enterprise. And John's going to do an overview of SunTrax for us, I believe, with a video. John, are you there?
Yeah, Steve, thank you. It's a pleasure to be able to share this facility with everyone here today and the news of holding PlugFest there. SunTrax is FDOT's high-tech research facility that was geared towards connected and automated vehicle testing in general, as well as the toll system testing. I'm going to show a clip in a minute, but real quick, I'm just going to give you a very brief background. SunTrax started less than 7 or 8 years ago as a concept for high-speed toll system testing off of the highway system so that we could do the more precise testing that's required for toll testing. In 2019, we opened the test facility. But then in that same year, we broke ground on the new infield, which you see all of the different 12 sectors here on the map. So we are going to hold PlugFest there, and it will be the first event of this type to be held at SunTrax. So anyway, with that, I think the video is probably the one to give the best overview of the site and the facility.
Well, thank you very much, sir. I understand that our chair, Steve Novosad, had to step away, but thank you, gentlemen, if I don't get a chance again, for your gracious remarks and your support for this important event. And without further ado, I'm going to ask Ryan or Vikenda to tee up that video, and then we can maybe talk about it after the video plays.
SunTrax is a high-tech research and testing facility developed by the Florida Department of Transportation and Florida's Turnpike Enterprise. Centrally located in Auburndale, Florida, this state-of-the-art complex will serve as North America's next-generation platform for testing emerging transportation technologies. Situated on 475 acres, SunTrax consists of a high-speed oval track that loops 10 secured testing sectors, built to accommodate customized testing configurations and conditions. Upon entering SunTrax, guests will be greeted by the iconic Arrival and Conference Building. This unique structure is outfitted with smart technologies, flexible work areas, dining services, and indoor-outdoor event spaces. Past the security checkpoint lies a series of climate-controlled workshops. Within these buildings are 16 individual bays that can be co-joined to accommodate custom space requirements, house multiple oversized vehicles, and connect to a private service yard. In the southwest corner of the facility is the SunTrax geometry track. This undulating topography and irregular grade changes provide the ideal environment for testing CAV functionality in limited sight distance conditions. SunTrax 2.25-mile high-speed oval track has a design speed of 70 miles per hour with a 10-degree incline at the corners, consisting of 5-lane straightaways and houses 4 free-flow toll gantries. The urban and suburban environments, along with pickup drop-off sectors, simulate a variety of configurations using custom shipping containers that can be fitted with facades and stacked to replicate a wide range of real-world scenarios. Cross-angle intersections and multi-lane roundabouts provide additional testing applications for up to 8 vehicles at a time. The noise vibration and harshness track features 8 pavement types to accommodate the testing of CAV cameras and machine vision systems, while the wet test track provides multiple low-friction surfaces with an optioned water element for traction testing and braking maneuvers. A 24-acre specialty paved technology pad can support up to 50 vehicles and 8 users simultaneously. Sample testing includes LiDAR radar detection, crash avoidance, and sensor configurations. Adjacent to the tech pad stands a 60-foot-high observation tower with lobby, restrooms, and high-speed data connections for ease in monitoring and recording projects. SunTrax, accelerating the future of transportation.
Wow, that's very, very impressive. And it's even more impressive in person. So I had that opportunity to go down there in August. And gentlemen, this is maybe you could just talk about the origin of SunTrax and what you're generally trying to accomplish with that facility, and who that will be open to for testing. I'm sure our members have an interest in that.
Trey, would you like me to? I'll say a little bit. So we have just completed construction on this facility in the last 4 or 5 months. And we're in the process of actually furnishing it with all of the furniture and equipment that we need in order to hold events such as Splugfest there. So it's an ongoing work for us. The Department of Transportation will be advertising an operator contract in early 2023. So we're also going to be opening SunTrax later this year for widespread use by the CAV and other test industries for daily use. And the intent is that all these sectors will be available to rent to the test industry as short or long term a period as it's useful. So, the department is about to embark on this operator procurement, and there's more information that will be posted on the suntraxfl.com website, as well as Florida's other FDOT's other procurement sites to give more information about that. But it's already been serving as a site for FTE toll testing for the last few years, and we have actually done turnpike related connected vehicle testing at the site in the last 12 or 18 months. The US DOT has done some testing on their Karma project at SunTrax in 2021, in early 2022, and that has been a benefit already to the cooperative driving assistance program. So I guess that's kind of the short of it, but anyone else from the Florida team that wants to speak, please jump in.
I think you covered it well, John. Thank you.
I can say this, that just my observation, having been involved in the ITS industry for the past 20 years, I can think of very few states, actually no state, that has been leaning forward in ITS research and deployment than Florida. Florida always seems to be pushing the envelope, and I think that's great. I had a chance to visit the Florida AV Summit at Amelia Island in December, and just really, really impressed at the great ecosystem that's developing for automated vehicles. And I think that will marry up very nicely with what OmniAir is going to bring, and with test laboratories, test equipment providers, device manufacturers, OEMs from around the world, to really see firsthand the great things that are happening in Florida. Excellent. So let me, before we just talk about the PlugFest schedule and the testing and when we'll have the registration page up and all that, and I'll turn that to Ryan to do that. I just wanted to see if anyone has any questions for Trey or Raj or John while they're online. Open the floor. Well, I'm sure there'll be plenty of time as we are working to plan PlugFest for everyone to ask those questions, and we're very appreciative that these individuals will be part of our planning committee. So we're looking forward to that, and thank you once again, and looking forward to a great event. Mr. Ryan Hall, I thought you could maybe walk us through what we have planned for a basic agenda, talk about registration, making plans for going down there, and trying to ask any questions, answer any questions people have about the event generally.
Hey, Jason.
Mr. Hall.
All right. Thanks, you guys. I very much appreciate you having me on, Jason. So we had a really great overview from SunTrax, which is fantastic. Thank you guys very much. You see we have the dates set from our partners, which will be May 1st through the 5th. I have a basic agenda kind of set up for everyone that's been to a PlugFest. You pretty much know what it is, but I noticed we do have some guests from USDOT who are here just to kind of see what our days are going to look like for setting up day, testing, lunch, those kind of things. So those would be, it's kind of our bare bone portion of it. We will have the event website up over the weekend so we can start registering. There'll be 2 sites, one for the mobility workshop and one that will be for testing. So that way doesn't confuse our guests. So it'll be really easy to do. We're just very excited to be able to have this in Florida at a really great time of year. If you want to travel with your family, we are really close to Disney World. It could be a really good opportunity for that to kind of to merge the two, a little bit of vacation time if you can bring your family or not. That would be wonderful. So we're just really looking forward to hearing from you. I know we have a PlugFest working group, and we're looking at all the different test cases that we're going to do. We're actually kind of fleshing some of them out. Instead of having all of the test cases, we're pulling out very specific test cases to run. So that way, when you come to the PlugFest, the devices and the test equipment providers know exactly what to expect and when to expect it. So those will be a little bit different. I'm working with Mick, our newest member of OmniAir, on a reporting system. I'm not 100% sure we can get it completely done by then, but that will be one of our goals, to see if we can have something that will make it easier for us to report our daily, make our daily updates before we start testing the next day. But I'm really excited. As you can see, this test facility is awesome. We've never been able to test quite like this, to be, especially, having all the elements. So we can do our slow speed figure eights, our latching. So this is kind of one-stop shopping. And I'm really excited to have all of our members there, and hopefully some, and a lot of guests for the policy conference. And so they can come see firsthand what we're doing for testing. I think that's it, Jason. I mean, I'm just really excited about this. I know it feels like it was a little rushed, but it takes a little bit of time to get everything set up and have all the arrangements in an agreement in place. And so we're really excited that we're able to make this announcement today.
Yeah, so we're just really teasing it out for you, but you will have all the details up on Monday. So look for that big announcement. Ryan alluded to a new sub-working group to the technical working group that has been formed. That's really, we're trying to take the technical planning and that's quite extensive for PlugFest and give it its own home. We've appointed Aaron Moore, who is actually an OmniAir alumnus, but now with Drive Ohio, and has been involved in just about every OmniAir PlugFest since 2018. to lead that group. And maybe Aaron, could you just give a little peek at what that group has been focused on, and if the members are interested in joining, what they might expect. Mr. Moore. Looks like his microphone may not be working at the moment. Well, anyway, if you are interested in serving on that working group, just to drop a note to Ryan or myself. Okay, Rakinda, let's move on. So we have asked Mike Brown, who chairs our coordinating council, to provide a couple of things. One would be an update on our activities of all of our working groups, but two, more importantly, coordinating council has been working on a technical roadmap for the organization for the next couple of years. Some of this is further along than other parts, but we're looking for inputs. And Mike, are you there?
Yep, I'm here. Thanks, Jason.
All right, walk us through.
Okay. All right. So I wanted to first start off with this roadmap slide. So in our December strategy session that we held at the Harmon offices in the Bay Area, we had a lot of good conversation. This was a day-long effort, just getting all the chairs together and others together that wanted to participate in the strategy session and look at what we're doing across these various areas and these work streams. And you'll see these work streams map basically directly to our sub-working groups or working groups and their activities. And we have some follow-up slides on that as we move along. But just to talk about what we're doing here, we wanted to paint the picture of, for at least for the next couple of years, what do we plan to do in these years. You see examples like launching the multi-protocol certification and application testing. A lot of these bullets that are on this slide echo the points that Jason had on the previous priorities slide. And you can really read this you don't have to read every bullet in this, but look at it like, what do we plan to do for and work towards for this May Plug Fest, the first half of 2023. Then what about a fall Plug Fest? Then a spring of 2024 Plug Fest, and then a fall Plug Fest, and generally get our priorities mapped through the various working groups and the work streams on what we'll be working on. This was just an initial stab of notes that we had out of our strategy session. Each of the working group chairs and sub-working group chairs now have an action item out of our last coordinating council meeting to provide some updates through this. So look for updates in our future meetings on this. Most importantly, if you'd like to get involved and help shape the future of what we'll be working on within OmniAir, please do so. You can see things out there that have 2025 to 2027. Obviously, the crystal ball is much less clear out at that point, but we want to start to list things that are upcoming items that we know we need to start tracking and perhaps start working towards as those technologies come around, and we need to offer interoperability and certification testing for these. Go ahead to the next slide.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Hang on a second. I had a question.
Yeah, Mr. Alfred, you have a question? Sir?
Yeah, so I'm concerned on the security side that I see, so I'll just be very direct about this. So the 1609.2, the CAMP protocol, the CAMP SCMS stack has pretty much locked most of the industry that would be SCMS providers out of this market. The IEEE 1609.2.1 and the elector capability was something that we saw as the promise to say, well, let's make this more interoperable, more inclusive, bigger tent. And I'm concerned I see it in the first half of 2024 optional support for 1609.2.1 and the same kind of like in the that's not very important. It seems like it should be quite important to move that ahead, and I'm kind of curious as to why it's strung out to 2024. And then again, post-quantum crypto 2025, I'm not aware that the IEEE has had any path forward in motion towards post-quantum crypto. So that seems kind of a very vague or a wishful thinking roadmap in terms of what you want to do. But in terms of industry, hey, what is the industry interested in in multi-vendor SCMS, or is it not a thing? Again, I'm looking at this and going, what am I doing here?
Jim, those points are very well taken, and I'll defer to Mike to speak to the issues. But one I wanted to mention is that we do have a new sub-working group that Woody Kim from Sasol Tech is leading, and that is on 1609.2.1. I understand that they have made some very good progress in developing test cases against that. I think that when we mention optional, what we've seen is not a lot of uptake on that yet. We know at some point there will be, and OmniAir could be a forcing mechanism through certification, but that's something that we'll want to talk through in the cybersecurity working group and other and elsewhere as to what the pace of that rollout will be. But I know that there's substantial progress on test cases, and that group, Jimmy, correct me if I'm wrong, meets 2 a.m. Eastern, as it's time to work for the folks in Korea. Is that correct, Jimmy?
Yes, indeed, that's correct.
Okay, very good, sir. And Mike, did you want to speak to maybe the other issues and more broadly?
I don't have a lot more to add than that, Jason. Jim, I don't know if you're involved directly in the cybersecurity working group, but definitely I think they're good points. Jimmy leads that for us. I'd certainly recommend you get involved with it. We do know that security is a much bigger issue than just these IEEE specific protocols. There's a lot more to security when it comes to transportation than just some of what has been done with the IEEE protocol 1609.2 and ultimately the SCMS. There's quite a bit more that surrounds it. But near-term focus has been a lot of what the North American pilots and deployments have demanded, what the equipment manufacturers will have to work towards. But there's certainly opportunities to shape the future in this area. So I'd recommend you get involved and help shape it.
Yeah, I'll just say, we have a person that attends the meetings, the security meetings. Again, I'm looking at these slides for the first time and going, hey, hang on, I thought we were making a bit more progress on that. I would say the security concern I have, just in terms of interop, is that application definitions and such seem to be now being worked on by the SAE, the visibility or public visibility of what the applications are, what the identifiers are, message identifiers and such is less than clear. The deadlines or the schedule for publication of those is also something that's could use some improvement. So ultimately, I see this as a credential management framework in place, but it has a certain vendor lock-in with it. And it doesn't, again, the SAE issue is, well, that's what I'd really like to know is if I'm setting standards for traffic signal priority or messaging, I'd like to know what those specs are so that ultimately the security for the PKI side is down to, well, what's the policy you issue against? And I think, again, my concern is it's not clear if the SAE is doing that work, when's it going to be published? And I guess it's down to how many groups, how many resources can you put on something if you're ultimately looking at this as a black box that you can't penetrate.
Good points. Jimmy, did you have any immediate feedback?
Well, as has already been mentioned, we're working on these issues in the cybersecurity working group, and the only tentative aspect of getting to 2.1 is the various vendors providing implementations, bringing them Plugfest and testing them. We actually had a pretty good set of tests to get started on last time, and turns out there were very few vendors that came with implementations ready to test. So we're waiting on
device vendors. Is that what you're saying when device vendors? I guess one thing, again, one thing I'd asked for a year ago is what, in terms of the device vendor side of it, an understanding of what the implementation plans for device vendors were in that respect. I don't think I ever actually got a readout of, hey, here are all the device vendors, here's the level of commitment they have to supporting 1609.2.1 in their stacks and their actual onboard units or RSUs, things like that. So there is a bit of, I can't test it because it's not there. But I guess ultimately that was a commitment I had from OmniAir to say, oh yeah, we're going to do a roundup and tell you what's coming down the pipe, or just to understand what different device vendors are putting in terms of capability.
Yeah, when we ask that question, we often get a bunch of shoulder shrugs. Nobody steps up and says, here's our product announcements and here's the deadline and here's when we're going to deliver that. What we often get is, yeah, we think that's a good idea and it's in our plans, but we won't commit to any particular schedule.
Hello, this is Randy. This is mostly industry driven, and this is an incredible opportunity to get the agencies such as Drive Ohio, FDOT, and all their agencies. And even at our Plug Fest last year, M-City gave out their proposal, what they wanted to see in devices, which should be about now. And 1609.2.1 was one of the things they were requesting. So more infrastructure agency views such as multi-sources and this new implementation could help out there.
Thanks, Randy.
So, Randy, this is Aaron Moore from Drive Ohio. We do have a CVLX transition plan out on our website right now, and it is, I guess, the requirements are 1609.2.1. So if anybody needs to take a look at that, they can definitely go to the website and view that.
Yeah, excellent. And I guess that's great news. But again, that drives the why would the Plug Fest then be pushed out and optional for next year?
Well, I wouldn't read too much into the chart, right? That there's a what we do know is that we have that sub-working group developing test cases. Those are very quickly, I believe, Jimmy, correct me if I'm wrong, going to be to the full working group for review, and then hopefully available for testing at Plugfest. So this is really trying to gauge the timing at a high level, and that's sometimes difficult. So hopefully it happens quicker than that.
There's in fact a full review by the full cybersecurity working groups to be scheduled for Monday. Brenda's going to be sending out the invite. I had sent a detailed email out to the cybersecurity working group scheduling that earlier this week.
Okay, well, I'll make sure William Lee gets the message, but you've got my feedback. I mean, if you're presenting to me slides like this, it suggests this is not a straw man thing. This is kind of, hey, here's our plan. And it sounds like maybe you ought to rethink the plan a little bit. If Drive Ohio and others
we appreciate we really do appreciate the feedback and look forward to you're going to further help on this. We're doing 1609.2.1 for a reason, and we want to get it over the line. So thanks.
Great. Yeah, maybe we'll go ahead and move on just for the sake of time. I know we've got about 12 minutes left. I'll just quickly kind of walk through, Burkina, if you can go to the next slide. I'll walk through the various updates just at a high level from each of the working groups and sub-working groups, and back to the previous conversation, echo that if you would like to shape the future, please get involved, please come to the Plug Fest, please provide input. This is a member-driven organization. Much thanks to Frank Perry from WSP for his leadership of the technical working group. The technical working group's developing this prioritized list of some of the existing testing specifications, and also that need to be updated, but also the new ones that need to be developed. Once they work through this list, they are working on their backlog and the priority for that backlog, and start working through those high priority documents. The technical working group got so busy that it spun off a number of sub-working groups, which was fantastic. And we'll walk through some of those as we go. And then there are other full working groups as well. But a lot of things still occur in the technical working group. If you want a big picture of the technical activities within OmniAir, this is a great working group to get involved with. Go to the next slide, Burkinda. Just quickly through some of the others too. The certification working group is working on finalizing the certification document matrix and the application certification program scope. They also want to start working on measurement uncertainty and revalidation of the test cases and test systems. So when you need to revalidate those. Go ahead, the next one, Burkinda. Cybersecurity, we talked quite a bit about this actually previously, but Jimmy's leading this. Appreciate Jimmy's leadership. They're working on the test for 1609.2.1, reviewing the 1609.2 tests, and the security testing surrounding the CTI 4001. That we'll talk a little bit about that as we get into the RSU working group as well. Go ahead to the next slide, Burkinda. And no update on the tolling and emerging payments, but this is a good one to get involved with if you're interested in that area. Go to the next slide. Appreciate Nick Hagemeyer's leadership from Drive Ohio on the RSU subcommittee. This subcommittee is currently focused on looking at test cases for and prioritizing the requirements around the CTI 4001 standard. CTI 4001, so CTI, if you're not familiar with that, that's Connected Transportation Interoperability. 4001 is the RSU standard on this. So this is a important item for this subcommittee and looking at identifying tests surrounding that. Go to the next slide, Burkinda. Another sub-working group out of our technical working group is the applications testing. Appreciate Tom Tincho's from HMTB, his leadership in this area. They're developing best approach to develop the test cases for the existing 708A and 708B field test procedures. If you're not familiar with 708A and B, those are the V2V and V2I test procedures for OmniAir. Go to the next slide, Burkinda. And then was great to hear from Aaron and the PlugFest Technical Committee subcommittee. This is something that was consuming quite a bit of time in the technical working group. So we spun off a separate sub-working group specifically for the planning activities. Aaron's doing a great job getting this kick-started and working toward the great PlugFest we'll have at SunTrax. Go ahead to the next slide, Burkinda. And then we also have activity going around. Maureen had talked earlier about RUC, so V2X based tolling and RUC. In the near term, we're looking at developing RUC certification test cases. Suzanne Murtha from AECOM is leading this activity for us. This is a great activity to get involved with if you're interested in RUC. Go to the next slide, Burkinda. And then I think finally, Woody Kim has started up a sub-working group for the security working group focused primarily on 1609.2.1. So this is a great one to get involved with if you're interested specifically in 1609.2.1. With that, I'll turn it back over to Jason to wrap up for us.
Well, thank you very much. And I think, as you can see here, we have a lot of things going on. Very active in tolling, very active in connected vehicles, lots of work on security and RSUs, applications. And of course, by the way, we're planning our PlugFest. So the reason that we're able to run so fast and do so many things that we have just great volunteer members who are able to work at a highly technical level that perhaps some other organizations don't have. And so I'm appreciative of all the contributions from our volunteer leaders and our volunteer members in making OmniAir the success that it has been and continues to be. So if you are interested in joining a working group or having members of your team participate, they are open to all members. Just send a note to Burkinda or myself, and we're happy to get you involved. Next slide. And I think that's it. Thank you all for participating. If you have any questions, let us know. And if you are interested in sponsoring PlugFest, maybe speaking, etc., reach out to Ryan or Burkinda, and we're happy to get you all involved. And thank you again for your time, and have a wonderful, wonderful end of your week. Take care.